Yeah, I think, I mean, I have to say I've genuinely never chosen a project in order to sort of like get more exposure or anything like that. So it's never really been, I mean, I suppose, you do have to make sort of strategic choices a little bit, but if your heart's not in it, then there's no point. So I think, with anything that I've done, it's always been because I've just instantly read it and felt so excited by it and couldn't stop thinking about it. And I have realised actually that, your tastes are changing all the time. So I think also the type of role you play, if you're in a fortunate enough position to be a little bit choosy, the character does give you something as well. So you kind of have to think like, okay, wherever I'm at in my life and wherever I'm at personally, what's the type of role I want to delve into for, that will satisfy me right now. So I think that's always changing.
It's a really beautiful portrait, isn't it, of mother-daughter, and it's very kind of true as well. I know you've got a very good relationship with your mother,
Yeah.
but a lot of people will look at it and go, yeah,
so many people identify with that. So many people go, yes, I have been in that car with my mother and I have wanted to throw myself out of that car, and or with their dad or whoever. I think there's always someone that you really, really love that you also butt heads with, and that's the thing about the two of them, is that it's not as simple as them just not getting on. Like they love each other so much, but they just don't quite understand each other at this point in time. They're just sort of missing each other a little bit, but they'll come back round, and I think you always know that throughout the film. You don't ever truly feel like the relationship is properly in danger. So,
and it's a small budget indie film, and it's received so much recognition, not least at the Globes.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. I'm thinking about Moonlight. It's almost the same company, I think.
Yeah,
Moonlight. It's interesting, isn't it? What maybe tastes are changing, or we're widening our appreciation of what makes a good film.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the last 2 years there has been massive changes in our world and in the Western world, well, everywhere really in our society, and I think the political decisions or changes that have happened in the last couple of years have really shook us. And I think it's really, like, one of the things that I noticed after Trump got elected in New York was how people really pulled together, and young people were being outspoken in a way that they never were before. In Ireland, when we had the marriage referendum a few years ago, the young people in particular finally felt like they had a voice, and I think there needs to be a massive shift, whether it's good or bad, for a group of people to come together and go, this is what we want to
referendum.
say.
Look at the kids in Ireland.
That's the next thing, yeah. And so I think that we're all so sensitive to change right now that people more than ever need to tell their story and their version of events right now. And so it's been amazing to have a year where something like Lady Bird and Get Out and The Shape of Water and Call Me By Your Name and all these brilliant films that are so different are representing, different people. And so it's an exciting time in film, I think.
Of course, one of the things that hasn't changed quickly enough is the presence of the recognition, if you like, of female talent behind the camera, and Greta, of course, embodies that. There was outrage at the Globes and at the BAFTAs as well, at why there wasn't a nomination for her.
Right, yeah. I mean, thankfully she got the Oscar nomination, so I think more than anything else, I found out about my nomination first and Laurie's and Best Picture, and it was my friend who told me. I had just flown back to London and I was sort of on another planet and I had forgotten they were coming out. And then they told me, and I was so delighted and so happy for the film and everything. And a few minutes later, my mate said to me, and Greta's been nominated. I just saw it was all being announced live, She said Greta had been nominated. And as soon as I heard that, I felt so emotional, because that was the shift and that was the thing that needed to happen. And to be honest, like, apart from the fact just that she's a woman, and it's crazy that only 5 female directors ever have been nominated, she's made a brilliant film, and she's worthy of being in a category filled with those other brilliant filmmakers, because she has made one of the best films of the year, and so her work deserves to be, celebrated.
But it's staggering and distressing that only one woman's ever won the Oscar for Best Director.
It's insane. It's really crazy. But I think that with the likes of Catherine Bigelow and Greta and Sofia Coppola and all of the brilliant female filmmakers that I've worked with, like Amy Heckerling and Nicole Beckwith and all these people, that they're telling their stories, and luckily these films have actually been produced and they've been out in the cinema, and that's just something that needs to become more of the norm, because they are out there. It's just there aren't enough of us.
People use award ceremonies to make those kind of points. Natalie Portman made it at the Golden Globe, the male thing. Do you think that's a good thing? I mean, it's bound to happen at the Oscars, really, isn't it? God, there's so much going on in the industry.
What, just that people will make a point?
We'll make political points about, what the movements in the industry, the female empowerment. I mean, it seems to become a problem over the past few years.
Yeah, I think it's unavoidable, and obviously it's a massive conversation right now. It's ongoing, with movements like Time's Up and 50-50 and things like that. Obviously, our presence will definitely be known at the Oscars, as it was at the Globes, and it will be at the BAFTAs. And it's really, I think it's important as well, though, that we still remember that we are, and I do think Time's Up is doing this, that we're all a community of filmmakers, and men and women, and there's a lot of great people who have done great work and who are great people to work with. And I think that that's what Time's Up wants to highlight too. So I think it will hopefully continue to be as positive as possible and just have as much of a purpose as it has done already.
You're young, you've been working in the industry for many, many years. You've never thought it's just too horrible, the glitz has gone, the tinsel has gone from this industry now, I'm not sure about it anymore?
Luckily for me, I only ever sort of dip my toe into it and then I'm gone again. So the only time that I really feel I'm a part of like the industry and the machine is when I'm promoting something, or when we're selling a film or whatever. And I'm more than happy to do that, because it's usually a film that I love and I'm proud of and passionate about and all of that. And it's a very different side to the film industry when it's the business side of it, and actually a lot of filmmakers would tell you this, that it feels very separate to what we do, when you're working on a film set or you're on stage or whatever. It's a different sort of area of your brain that needs to be switched on. So I think once you just do it in drips and drabs, it's
interesting that you're doing Mary Stewart with Margot Robbie. Mm-hmm. Now she's quite an interesting character, because she produced I, Tonya, didn't she? So she's taking a bit of control. I suppose that's why Greta started writing and producing. It's that, it is female empowerment in the industry in its truest form. She decided, I don't like the kind of roles coming my way, I'm going to make them happen. Is that the answer to making the industry really equal?
Well, I mean, I think the general consensus with most actors who are in it for the right reasons is that you do get to a point where you just creatively want to be more involved. And I do think for men and women, there are quite a few actresses that I know that just haven't felt like they've had a chance to play the type of roles that they really want to, and that kind of satisfies them. And so, yeah, why not go out and create your own work, I think that's one of the things that like female comedians have taught us, is that there were no jokes being written for them, there were no TV shows or anything being written for them, so they just went out and did it themselves. And I think for men and women in our industry, there's a lot of actors that end up producing their own stuff, because you're surrounded by so many great filmmakers when you are an actor, and it inspires you, and eventually you want to become even more involved than you were before. So yeah, it's a great step forward.
Lady Bird's really beautifully female-centred film. We need to see more of those?
Yeah, absolutely. We need to see more of everything. We need to see more diverse films that just represent the world that we live in now,
Do you think that Greta's nomination is going to be followed by others? I mean, I covered Black Panther last night. That was a real moment in cinema.
Yeah, I bet.
There's something rolling along here, and we keep talking about women in Hollywood, but are we really at a changing point?
Yeah, I think so. I think we are. I mean, it's all we're talking about. So I do think I do think it's going to change. I think it'll take a while before we start to see it, because obviously this is the turning point right now. So you know, the projects that are going to be made in the next couple of years, they'll sort of be the telltale signs, I suppose. But I think we're heading in the right direction. Okay,
and just finally, with female empowerment, the Spice Girls. You've revealed your Spice Girl moment. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yeah, well, when I was a child, when I was about 4 years old, I don't know why I was allowed to have them, because they were probably very dangerous, but I had these like massive platform Spice Girl trainers that had like this huge sole the whole way around. And the only thing that made them Spice Girls was that it said Spice Girls on the side. But I loved them so much. And my first dog, Sassy, she was a puppy at the time, and she just like took a shine to one of these shoes, and it got stuck on her snout. And she couldn't get the shoe off. The shoe was stuck to her face. But I loved the Spice Girls. I was always Baby Spice.
So you're very happy? You're happy to see them back?
I'm ecstatic. All of our dreams are coming true. I genuinely am so happy.
Like to see them singing again? Or?
Yeah, doing the whole thing. All the hits. Maybe one new song.
Okay.
One or two. A ballad and a pop anthem.
We'll let them know. That's lovely. Thank you very much.